If you are studying at university and fail over half of your subjects in any semester, you may lose access to government subsidies such as the HECS scheme under the proposed changes to the university system by the federal government. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the controversial changes which may be implemented by the government as a proposed change or overhaul to the university system coming in the near future. Here is how it will work and how you could lose government support. This change will see university students who fail half or more than half of their subjects in any given semester when undertaking a full workload, which is 4 subjects per semester or 8 units per semester. You will lose government funding to the HECS or Help Loan Support System, meaning you would have to foot the bill to pay for your studies if you wanted to continue, upfront in full. The estimate is that it will affect around 2,500 students every year, which you think about it, it's not that significant, but if you extrapolate that over the course of 10 years, that's 25,000 students, which effectively might be kicked out of university because they may no longer be able to afford to pay for that study, or they may have to seek financial support through other means, such as taking out a personal loan in order to pay for their university studies to complete their degree. Obviously, the government have looked at this holistically, and realistically, if you have a serious injury or illness and an actual reason that you're failing, not just from pure laziness, and you can prove that that illness or injury has stopped you from being able to study, there are and will be exemptions put in place for students who fit those categories. Comments have been made by the government to try and justify why they have been doing this, and they have said things like, these changes are aimed at preventing students with very low completion rates from racking up large debts without any qualifications to show for them, and that research has shown that nearly 6% of university students fail every subject in their first year. That is insane to think that 6% of students fail every single subject that they go to university for. How? Now, personally, I know a few people who would absolutely fit into this category. People who definitely take the system for a ride, and I believe that the university system shouldn't be taken for a ride. I think it is a fantastic system to be able to go to a place and get a qualification where in Australia, it's pretty good. The university degrees aren't that expensive. I paid about 40 grand for my university degree, and I didn't pay that up front. I went onto the HECS system, and I now, through the workforce, through earning money from my employer, they take out a percentage of my wage every year, and that gets taken off of my HECS debt, and eventually all that money will be repaid. So I got an upfront loan for free, and I got a qualification from it, and now I'm using that qualification to earn money in the workforce. It's not as good as the Scandinavian countries where education is free, but it's definitely better than the American system. I know a person who did the exact same degree as me and paid $300,000 more than me upfront, whereas I am going to take 10 years to pay that off with my HECS repayments. It's an interest-free loan. It's the best loan you'll ever get. Check out the video I made on it if you want. But the point here is that people don't understand how good they have it in Australia, with education in particular. And some people, these people who, the 6%ers who are definitely failing on purpose, I guarantee that most people, to fail every subject at university would be so difficult. I have done a very complex degree. I went to university and I did it. And there is no way that I could have failed every subject in my first year of university. Some of them literally only required me to attend university to pass. And I know people who I was good friends with at the time who failed every single subject. How? I don't know. The fact that the government is recognizing this and trying to take action towards it, I do support an incentive for people to take it seriously. I know it's only a small percentage, but it's still, in the long run, it's going to be a lot of people. So yeah, having that incentive, I believe, is good. I don't know if this is the right way to go about it. I'm just the messenger, kind of presenting the information that's been put in front of me. But yeah, having an incentive to kind of give some drive and push to people who are going to university for a lifestyle, or who are going there as an excuse to not have to do something else, but then failing and racking up debt. I believe that it's a good thing the government are realizing this and trying to take steps to prevent it from happening. Now, that was a bit of a rant. That was my 2 cents. There has been a lot of backlash from the proposed changes which are coming in, and there have been comments from many people criticized and characterized this proposed change as an incentive to succeed through the promotion of fear. So basically scaring people into having to do a degree or continue a degree that they might not be enjoying, otherwise they're going to lose that support, which I do agree with. I think that that's wrong. I think that you should be allowed to do what you want to do, and you should be allowed to study what you want. Education is vital. It's a vital part of evolution. It's a vital part of an economy, and it's something that can definitely prop up an economy, because education is the key. Knowledge is the key to succeeding in this world. So giving that to everyone and that opportunity to everyone is important. I do agree with that statement, that it would be an incentive for success through fear. Now, on top of that, I actually believe that the university system has many flaws, and that it is now really a cash grab for the real winner, which is universities, where governments pay the bills of HECS debts. Just as an example, HECS debts is one of the many schemes that they have out there for education, but they pay students HECS debts, and the students go to uni, and most of them do well. They get qualifications. Some don't ever work in the industry. Some don't finish the degrees. Some drop out, some change. But the point is that they offer that as an opportunity for young Australians to get educated. But now the problem lies within the universities, where their intention is to basically make as much money as they can. So they try to max out the classes. They try to get as many people into the courses as they can. And on top of that, they offer many backdoors. They offer incentives, they offer bridging courses, they offer tests, which allow them to get into lower end degrees and then do their time in that degree and then transfer into the degree that they want to. And this system is flawed because it basically is a cash grab for universities, where students have to spend more time to get into the thing they want to get into, and it's not really regulated. It's just an uncapped number of people, where, let's use nursing as an example. I believe it is one, or teaching even. They are saturated markets where people really struggle to find full-time work or permanent positions because there are so many people in this field. It's not regulated whatsoever. I don't have the answers here. I'm just going from personal experience. I know lots of people who have really struggled to find work in specific industries and specific fields because there are too many people going into those fields versus other fields. Like, I'll use engineering as an example. There's currently a lot of aging people finishing up their careers in engineering, and there is a need for young engineers coming into the engineering world. And ultimately, where I'm going with this is, universities are the greedy company or corporation here who just want as many bums in seats as they can get to basically make the money that they are making, which is an astronomical amount of money. Leading out of that, the government is looking to curb and do whatever they can to make sure that this isn't continuing, that people aren't just going to university because a university accepted them into a degree that they might not have actually necessarily qualified for, because it means that the government will foot the bill. Just as an example as well, this isn't the first time that the government have implemented measures to try and control and contain this, I'll call it oversaturation or overspending on education when it comes to people not taking it seriously. An example is there was a student a long time ago who enrolled in university on the HECS debt. And he basically said, if I just keep studying under the HECS conditions, I can study for my entire life without ever having to pay for my education. I can just keep going to uni and I'll never have to pay that debt back, because at the time, the threshold to make repayments to the HECS debt was quite high. It still is. It's about $45,000 at the moment. But the government recognized that, he's going to rack up $1 million of HECS debt and never make repayments because he'll just study until the day he dies, and where he essentially he racked up $500,000, which is pretty funny. But the government then regulated it, so the HECS is now capped at $106,000. This is what they're intending to do, where they are going to cut people out of having access to the HECS debt. They're going to basically be doing something along the lines of what they did earlier. They are limiting or making sure that there is prevention methods to people abusing this great incentive offered by the government. And down the line, I expect even more changes to come into play. This legislation hasn't yet taken effect. However, it is something to be aware of. If you are a young person who's finishing up in high school thinking about going to university, be aware of it. If you are a parent who has a child who is thinking about going to university, be aware of it. Or if you're currently studying and you might be in that position where you're failing half your subjects, be aware of it. Ultimately, I wanted to have the discussion today and just tell how it is, what they're proposing, and my 2 cents on it, because it's a good topic to talk about. It's interesting what the government is planning to do to mitigate these issues, and I am curious to see what effect that has in the future. Overall, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something, and I hope that it was insightful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing down below. And as always, I will see you in the next one.